The courtroom buzzed with muted conversations as Elon Musk entered, wearing his trademark calm demeanor and an unassuming black suit. Around his neck hung a simple silver cross. It was an accessory most wouldn't even notice, but today it caught the sharp eyes of Judge Harold Vance, a man known for his strict interpretation of neutrality in the courtroom. But before we dive into what happens next, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from today? Drop a comment below and please like the video. Thank you. Mr. Musk, Judge Vance said sharply, tapping his gavel, is there a particular reason you find it necessary to flaunt religious symbols in my courtroom? Elon raised an eyebrow, his expression neutral. Your Honor, this cross is a personal item, not a statement. Judge Vance's face hardened. This courtroom is a place of law, not personal expressions. I won't allow any display that might influence the perception of impartiality. I'm fining you $300,000 for contempt. A murmur spread through the spectators. Even Musk's legal team seemed momentarily stunned. Elon, however, remained composed. I respect your decision, Your Honor, he said simply, though his eyes gleamed with an unsettling calmness. The trial proceeded, but everyone in the room could feel the tension thickening. Musk offered no rebuttal to the fine during the session. Instead, he waited. His patience was as calculated as the innovations that made him a household name. The next morning, a flurry of media reports revealed a bombshell. Elon Musk had filed a legal motion against Judge Vance. It claimed that the judge's actions violated Musk's constitutional rights. The document was dense, laden with citations and precedents that painted a damning picture of Vance's behavior. Elon had written it himself. Within hours, federal agents arrived at the courthouse with a warrant. By midday, Judge Vance was back in his own courtroom, but this time, he wasn't presiding from the bench. He stood in the defendant's box, flanked by two stern-faced officers. The charges against him were severe: abuse of judicial power, violation of constitutional rights, and corruption. Evidence presented during the emergency hearing included past rulings where Vance had fined individuals for similarly arbitrary reasons, favoring those who could pay while dismissing valid appeals from others. Elon's legal team had uncovered it all in a matter of hours. "I didn't abuse my power!" Vance shouted, his face flushed with indignation as the court played recordings of his previous rulings. His protests only made the situation worse. Elon sat in the gallery, quietly observing as the very system Judge Vance had sought to manipulate turned against him. The prosecutor addressed the court, stating, "In his overreach, Judge Vance forgot that no one, not even a judge, is above the law." By the end of the hearing, Vance was found guilty of judicial misconduct. His gavel was stripped, his reputation in ruins. The irony of it all wasn't lost on anyone in the room. As officers cuffed him, Vance turned to Musk. "You planned this," he hissed. Elon leaned forward, his voice low and deliberate. "I didn't need to plan anything. You walked into your own trap. All I did was hold up a mirror." Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed Elon, but he raised a hand to silence them. "Today wasn't about me. It was about justice. Even in a system designed to protect it, justice sometimes needs a nudge." The image of Elon Musk walking away from the courthouse, cross still hanging around his neck, became a defining symbol, a reminder that even the most powerful must answer to the law, and sometimes the accused is far sharper than the accuser. The courtroom emptied slowly, the gravity of the day sinking into everyone who had witnessed the stunning reversal. As Judge Harold Vance was escorted away, murmurs spread through the legal community about what this meant for other cases he had presided over. Whispers of appeals and investigations filled the air, but Elon Musk had already left, disappearing into the chaos of flashing cameras and hurried questions. Later that evening, Elon sat in his office, the city lights of Austin glowing faintly through the large windows. His legal team sat across from him, papers and laptops scattered across the polished table. "You were brilliant in there," one of his attorneys said, still marveling at the way Elon had exposed Vance's corruption. "The way you tied everything back to his prior cases. It was surgical." Elon waved a hand dismissively. "I didn't do it alone. The system gave me the tools. I just knew how to use them." Another lawyer chimed in. "What happens now?" There's going to be a flood of cases reopening because of this. Vance's rulings could be overturned left and right. Elon leaned back in his chair, a faint smile playing on his lips. That's for the courts to figure out. I just wanted to make sure no one else gets steamrolled the way Vance tried to steamroll me. Power without accountability is dangerous. As the meeting wrapped up, Elon's phone buzzed with a text. It was from an unknown number. The message read, "You made a lot of enemies today. Not everyone appreciates the spotlight you've put on the system. Watch your back." Elon stared at the message for a moment before locking the phone. He had anticipated backlash. Exposing corruption never came without risks. But he wasn't one to back down from a fight. Over the next few weeks, the fallout from Judge Vance's case rippled through the legal system. A special investigation committee was formed to review every case Vance had touched in his decades-long career. Several prominent figures began distancing themselves from him, claiming ignorance of his questionable practices. At the same time, Elon found himself the target of subtle but deliberate attacks. Anonymous articles began appearing, questioning his motives. Fake lawsuits popped up, accusing him of everything from intellectual property theft to workplace misconduct. The media frenzy reached a fever pitch, but Elon handled it with his usual unflappable calm, using the chaos to highlight the importance of transparency and accountability. One night, while reviewing documents related to the Vance investigation, Elon received an unexpected visitor. It was Rebecca Carter, a young lawyer who had once clerked for Vance. She carried a worn leather briefcase and a nervous energy that filled the room. "I'm risking a lot coming here," she said, placing the briefcase on Elon's desk. "But you need to see this." Inside were files, dozens of them, detailing backdoor deals, bribes, and evidence that Vance had been part of a larger network of corrupt officials. Rebecca explained that Vance wasn't acting alone. He was just one cog in a much larger machine. "This isn't just about him," she said, her voice trembling. "There are others, judges, politicians, even law enforcement, who've been part of this for years. If you keep pushing, you're going to find yourself in even deeper waters." Elon studied her carefully. "Why bring this to me?" "Because you're the only one who's not afraid to fight them," she replied. "And because I've seen what happens to people who try to expose them alone." With Rebecca's information, Elon began assembling a team. Not just lawyers, but investigators, whistleblowers, and journalists who were willing to dig into the deeper corruption. What started as a single courtroom drama evolved into a full-blown war against a system that had long thrived in the shadows. As the investigation deepened, the threats against Elon grew more blatant. His Tesla factories faced sudden inspections, SpaceX launches were delayed by dubious regulatory hurdles, and his personal security team intercepted multiple attempts to breach his properties. But Elon remained undeterred. "They're scared," he told his team one night. "They think pressure will make us stop. They don't understand that pressure is what we're built for." The battle reached a climax when Elon, armed with irrefutable evidence, held a live press conference. Standing in front of a packed room of reporters, he laid out the web of corruption, naming names and presenting documents for all to see. The broadcast was streamed worldwide, sparking outrage and demands for justice. By the end of it all, dozens of officials were indicted, and systemic reforms were set into motion. Judge Vance's trial became a landmark case, symbolizing the importance of holding even the most powerful accountable. As for Elon, he returned to his work, pushing humanity toward Mars and beyond. But his actions in the courtroom left an indelible mark, proving once again that sometimes the greatest battles aren't fought in boardrooms or labs, but in the halls of justice.